Allah. Allah. La Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah. Ahmaduhu wa asta'inuhu wa astadihi wa astaghfiruhu wa umminu bihi jalla wa ala wa la akfuruhu wa ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluhu. Arsalahu bil huda wa din al-haq liyadhhiruhu ala ad-din kullihi walau karihal mushrikun. All praise belongs to Allah. We praise Him. We seek His help, His assistance, and His guidance. We believe in Him and do not disbelieve in Him. I bear witness that there is no God but Allah, and Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is His servant and messenger. Allah sent Him, that is Muhammad, with Deen al-Haq, the religion, the way, the methodology of truth. This way of life known as Islam will rise to its proper position in this world, whether the mushriks like it or not. Inna Allaha yahmuru bil adli wal ihsani wa ita'i dil qurba wa yanha anil fashai wal munkari wal baghi ya'idukum la'alakum tadhakkarun. Allah commands justice, the doing of good, and liberality to kith and kin. He forbids all shameful deeds and injustice and rebellion. He instructs you that you may receive righteousness. فَمَنْ يَرِيدِ اللَّهُ أَنْ يَهْدِيَهُ يَشْرَحْ صَدْرَهُ لِلْإِسْلَامِ. Those whom in Allah plan willeth to guide, He opens their breast to Islam. Ya ayyuha alladhina amanu attaqullaha haqqa tuqatihi wa la tamutuna illa wa antum muslimun. O you believe, fear Allah as He should be feared, and do not die except in a state of Islam. Wa tasimu bihablillahi jami'an wa la tafarraqu. And hold fast altogether by the rope which Allah stretches out for you, and be not divided amongst yourselves. Kuntum khaira ummatin ukhrijat lil nasi ta'muruna bil ma'rufi wa tanhauna 'anil munkar wa tu'minuna billah. You are the best peoples, raised up for mankind, enjoining what is right, forbidding what is wrong, and believing in Allah. The most truthful discourses is the Book of Allah. The most trustworthy word is taqwa, or fear of Allah. The best of the community is the community of Prophet Ibrahim. The best way of life is the sunnah of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam. The remembrance of Allah is the most glorious of all things. The best of all narrations is Quran. The best acts are those requiring the highest degree of will and determination. The worst acts are those based on innovation. The best way of life is the one adopted by the prophets of Allah. The most glorious death is the death of the martyr. The most wretched blindness consists of going astray after finding the right way. The best acts are the ones that yield benefits. Best guidance is that which people may be able to follow. The worst blindness is the blindness of the heart. The upper hand is better than the lower one. The less which can meet one's needs is better than the more which could cause neglectfulness. أقول قولي هذا واستغفر الله لي ولكم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. And whether we show you some of what we promised them or make you die, it is but incumbent upon you to communicate on us to take account. Do they not see that we bring the earth, diminishing it from its extremities? And Allah's decree, there is none to amend his decree, and he is quick in reckoning. And there did those before plot before thee, or before them. Then Allah is the planner altogether. He knows what every individual acquires. And this is something that gives anyone that is concerned with raising the level of consciousness of people or participating in some struggle or another, social, psychological, economic, or bettering the human condition. But of course, this relates directly to the Prophet of Allah, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and Allah has given him a message, and that message, if you're a believer and a Muslim, it rests at home. If you're a non-believer, you might be kind of absorbed in Jahiliyyah, and you want some either long-range reward or some immediate gratification for some good that you're doing. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling the Prophet, whether we show you some of what we promised them, or we do make you die. If we, all this stuff that's going on, and you see it, or we make you die, it is incumbent on you to communicate, to give the people the message, to talk to the people. And on us is the reckoning. Reckoning in this case is Al-Hasib, the accountant. So, Allah is telling his messenger, whether I show you in your lifetime, whether you get the response that you wanted and you hope for, and the message you're giving is good for everybody, whether you see that in your lifetime, right, or you don't see it in your lifetime, right, it's not your job to make the people do nothing. It's not your job to collect the people together and give them some super duper spiritual, magical thing and make them cooperate. It's your job to give the message like it has been delivered to you. And then Allah uses the term Al-Hasib, that means the accountant. That means Allah is saying it's my job to call the people to account. That's not your job. Because when you get hooked up with trying to help people or give a good message, whether it's social, political, or psychological, or whether you've written some great book that might relate to the health of the human being or something like that, you want people to not only read that book, but you want them to get the benefits of that book, and then you want some reward that you get from selling that book. It's only natural. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling his prophet, whether I show you in your lifetime, whether you see the conclusion of what's being told to you by Jibril from me, whether you see that in your lifetime or whether it's postponed till after your life, don't worry about it. Your job as the messenger is to deliver the message. And then Allah is saying, I'm Al-Hasib. I'm the accountant here. I'm taking account of everything. You're not responsible for them hearing, right? You don't have to use up all your time. Let me see now. Of course, you do it automatically. Now, what's the best way I can deliver this message? Like if we thinking and talking, now, what kind of psychological mumbo jumbo can I use on the people? And then that's a test. You know why? Why is that a big test? Because whether it's Creflo Dollar, if he's still on, or anybody like that, you'll find that the people getting all the money and telling the biggest lies are those people, right? And the poor guy telling the truth is over there by themselves, usually. Right? Not with a big following, not with a... So that's a challenge for you. Wait a minute now. As you're going over it, you're thinking, well, I can use some psychological mumbo jumbo and I get the people. I am telling the truth and I do want. So you're going to figure out, the shaitan is with you all the time. Like he's right there at the door of the masjid. When you walk in here, you bringing him with you and he's waiting for you at the same time. He got a lot of ways he do stuff. So you don't have to worry about him. He's around all the time, right? He's not omnipresent like Allah, but he's around. He waiting for you in front of you, behind you, on top. That's what the Quran says, right? So that boy is around. By the way, about the shaitan, once the Prophet ﷺ left his home late at night, and he went to the graveside of the martyrs to pray for them. And the wife who he was with that night thought maybe he's going to another wife's house, and anything she could have been thinking. Maybe I didn't satisfy him, maybe right? So she goes out behind him to see what's going on. So when she caught up with him, he was at the graveyard praying and crying tears, beard full of tears, for the martyrs, the people who've been martyred in the way of Islam. She zipped on back right quick, like ain't nothing happened. But she knew he was up on what had happened. So she asked him, well, why did I do that? She said, well, it was the shaitan. So she's thinking, what, I'm the daughter of your best friend, you know what I mean? I'm the daughter of Abu Bakr Siddiq, and I'm married to you, the prophet. Do I have a shaitan? He said, of course. Yes. She said, even thou, O Rasulullah, even you? He said, yes, but I've conquered that shaitan. And now he only suggests good to me. That's a big job that we setting out on here, right? To conquer the innuendos of shaitan, to conquer the slick talk of the people, to conquer your internal desire to do good or evil, to learn how to manage that, right? You're on a quest. It's not that easy. But the ultimate quest is to conquer that shaitan so that if he want attention, he's going to suggest good to you. That means you can make that bum suggest, I ain't giving you no attention unless it's good, unless you say something good. I ain't listening to nothing you got to say. That ain't easy, because he always busy. He say, oh, this guy like a little money, so I'm going to come to him with a money trick today. You know, like I used to travel a lot on the highway, and I'd be all over the country. I was down near New Orleans, and I was listening on Sunday night, you know, to the preachers. And this preacher, she was a prophetess, that's what she said. And she was going to teach you how to find money, to smell money. That's what everybody needed, is money. And all you had to do was send her, maybe in those days, about $20, $50, and she was going to send you a money hand. Now, this money hand will help you find money, feel out money. If there's money around, you're going to send her. And some of the people, they just get you a little perfume on a handkerchief or a rag or something, and they'll send you, you know, all of that. No. So anyway, the prophetess was saying, that's what she said she was. She was going to send you a money hand to help you smell money. Like if you're sitting there broke and there's some money somewhere around, usually unattached money, you're going to be able, like you can smell cooking, you can smell all of that, right? Aromas, you're going to smell money. And that money hand going to make you grab it, help you grab it and hold on to it. It ain't going to, they say, slip through your fingers, not this money. Because this come from her. And she going to get you a money hand. It's going to help you smell money, hear money. You can hear money. I tell you, you think that's a lie. You say, you can't hear no money. And you can't smell no money. Well, that's because you ain't had enough money. Does anybody know that you can definitely smell money? Okay, you ain't had enough money then. That's all it is. That's true. If you got enough money, you can smell money. Yes, money has a smell. All them hands touching it and what have you and all that. Money develops its own smell. Like sweat and everybody touching it. If you get enough money in a room, you can smell it easy. Especially if you keep it in them big garbage bags for a while and then take it out of there. When you open that bag, whoof, there it is. If anybody know what money smell like, when they open it, that's what's in there. Anyway, with her money hand, you don't have to be bothered with that. Because her thing going to help you smell money. If it's money in here, if it's in this chair, if it's behind there, you're going to be able to smell it. I'm telling you. So I'm not saying Islam going to do that for you, but them people down there in New Orleans and all that, they got game and they can help you with that. You know. And whether we show you some of what we promised them or we make you die, it is incumbent upon you to communicate and on us to take account. This is because Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is a kind person, and he's a good person, and he wants his people, his tribe, to get the blessings out of what Allah have given him, to get hold to this Islam. And so when the people are not accepting it, it kind of hurts a little. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling them, don't worry about it. That's not your job. It's your job. When I send you these revelations through Jibril, recite it to them. Whether they take it or not, that's on them. And whether it touched their heart or not, it's up on us. Allah is saying it's up on me to hook these folks up. Do they not see that we bring the earth, diminishing it from its extremities? In Allah's decree, there is none to amend his decree, and he is quick in reckoning. And there did plot those before them, and Allah's plan is all together. He knows what every individual acquired. What this is saying basically is, just like now, if you look in the historical period we're passing through, and you look at the United States the Great, America the Great, it is being diminished on a daily process. You could hear it in the news. Well, if you listen to the news here, you won't always hear it, but if you've been really listening, you'll be able to hear it clearly. You'll be able to see it that there's a process going on where the Quran refers to it as slow wastage. Right here is mentioned as it's being diminished daily. It's being diminished weekly. It's going through a process of slow wastage. That the best that is in America is being taken out. It's being wasted away. It's being abused and it's being misused. And then it talks about the people of times before. You would think that, well, the British Empire that just fell, couldn't they have come up with some plan to rescue the British Empire? When you look at Gladiator and you see the Roman Empire is going through its changes, and a few years from that period, a few hundred years, in the old days they diminished a little slower than they do now. And you would think, couldn't they have come up with some plans to save their empire, right? Or whether it was Babylon, the Hanging Gardens of Babylon, or even America today. Couldn't America come up with some plans to rescue itself? Well, if you look at the news, if it looks like it's chaos and this is going on, that's exactly what America is trying to do. Just looking at it every day. America's trying to save itself and its power and its position, and it's throwing everybody overboard, right? If you watch the news, and France is getting ready to sell Australia some submarines. The U.S. will come in and say, don't buy them, buy ours. You ain't going to get them for 15 or 20 years, and they're going to be atomic submarines. And who can count on, with the weather going like it is, the climate going through these changes, the ocean rising, right? And drought spreading all over the world. How you know you got 20 years to go? Not you as a person, but the earth. You can't count on that. But America say, you get the submarines from us, and we'll have them in 10 or 15 years. We're going to have them over there for you. Of course, you get the ones from France. Then France is mad, but the U.S., Australia, and France is all hooked up together, right? So now they didn't cause trouble for themselves, right? And their own hookup. And they got Europe over there, and they said, well, one thing about money is war makes money for the arms industry and for the military contractors and all of that. We don't get nothing out of it unless we're dumb enough to go over there and they get us killed, right? That's the only thing you're going to get is a graveyard, because you're not hooked up in the equation, right? So if you look at the world today, the United States of America, your homeland for now, is accelerating its own decline. Everything that it does right? Here's the empire. America, way back when, 1945, after World War II, big and bad and running everything, right? And that was a period when it was on an incline. And whatever it said and did, it was the rule of the day. And anybody that was with it, they was going to have money too, right? Okay, it's not like that anymore. There's not but so much wealth left in the world. And the people that are in charge are making sure, right, they get all of that money, right? Okay, they got inflation today, right? So the U.S. tries to cause trouble for, you can't take nothing from the Russians and just invaded Ukraine. Now, a lot of things you don't know is, first of all, they wanted that invasion because they wanted to sell Ukraine weapons or give Ukraine weapons that you pay for. They wanted all their people to unify with them, all of Europe, Poland, and all that, because Donald Trump had made all their allies so-called mad. And now Biden, whatever his name is, want to hook everybody back up. And they have to have a reason. And one of the greatest unifying forces in modern times and in ancient times is war. If y'all ever saw the movie Wag the Dog, that stuff is true. You get a war going on and the president, his rating is going to go from 40% to 60, 65, or 70% automatically. Because the people want to unify behind the leadership on a war. And everybody in the world uses those tactics, right, that have any power. To unify the internal people, you hook up the internal people to fight an external people all the time. Those people, we're going over there to fight them. Only thing is, we used to call it wearing it out. Man, you got to stop saying that, you're wearing it out. In other words, wearing it out means that you've used that tactic, that saying, you know what I mean, all power to the people, man, you're wearing that out. You know what I mean? In other words, you're saying it so much, you just wearing it that, man, you got that. Now, war. Oh, we got Korea. We got them commies over there, those reds, so we'll go over there and fight them. Everybody jump up, hip, hip, hooray. Then they said, now we got the Vietnam, them little bitty Vietnamese people running around here talking all that trash. They reds too, you know. Therefore, we got to put them in their place. And Kennedy had enough sense to say, I don't know about all that. But here come Dumb Johnson. He's dumb, right? So now he got his great society, and he gonna do like Franklin Roosevelt, and he gonna get everybody some money. So they had the war on poverty. Y'all might be not remember that stuff, but he had the war on poverty and all of that. So the black people and the poor white people were saying, don't have no war, because you have to spend all of the money that you was gonna give us and help us with to send over there. Do you know America sent, at one time, they had 500,000 troops in Vietnam. 500,000 in little old Vietnam. And they dropped more bombs in Vietnam and they dropped more bombs on Cambodia to stop the Vietnamese from using the Ho Chi Minh Trail, right? Then they dropped in all of World War II. You ever see these World War II movies and all that? And all they got is bombers dropping all them bombs. They dropped more bombs on little old Vietnam than they did in all of World War II. This is unbelievable, the psychological depravity that these monsters have on all those defenseless people. But anyway, So when they have a war, well, let's see. Somebody makes money and somebody loses their life and everything else. So who is that? Why, me and you. They suit us up, cut our hair off, and sent us over there. And that's what the Vietnam, you see all them protests, now all the white kids was in college. So you see all them Vietnam protests from way back when? Boy, they was protesting. You know why? Because they was showing, this is first war they showed on TV. They don't do that no more. You don't see them wars on TV no more. But the Vietnam War, they showed everybody getting killed and them taking everybody to get fixed up. So the white kids, boy, look at here. You look at all the Vietnam protests, it ain't much too many Negroes. It's all white kids. Now the white kids is protesting the Vietnam War. The black kids is protesting all the stuff this, boss man doing to us. So pretty soon, now the way you would see this, I'm from Oakland, California. In Oakland, there's that main hub in the United States at that time. UC Berkeley, the white kids. Over in San Francisco, y'all wouldn't remember if you go to San Francisco, be sure to wear flowers in your hair, 1966. That means you see about the hippies, they call them flower children. All of them was going to San Francisco, right? Then the Black Panther Party, the big pimps and gangsters was not from LA and Philadelphia and all that. Guess where they was? In little old Oakland. Every movie you saw after a certain time, it was about Oakland, right? The Mac and all of that, that's Oakland, right? That's Oakland. So how is it that little hub right there in the United States is the center of activity for everybody? Over in San Francisco, the white kids got Haight-Ashbury. That's like a new colony, like a hippies and flower children. They're going to live there in peace. No war. Make love, not war. That's what they say. That made boss man mad, so he run all them crazy. And they still run them crazy with what? Crystal meth and LSD. Clear light, orange sunshine, all that. Did the white man know what it did to him? Sure. He did all of his experiments on LSD in the late 50s, and he was wrapping it up by 1961 and 62. He saw what it did. He put it on his own children in 65. Ollie Stanley and all them guys who was making acid. Acid wasn't even illegal till 1966. By that time, they was tripping out. But anyway, let's get back to the rendition here. We got so many things happening around us and to us that we have to go through this history of the region of the world that we're living in, so the things that's happening to us now begin to make sense. Okay? In that hub out there, that was where things was happening all over America, but they was really happening out there. They was really happening out there. That's California. Basically, that's Northern California. With the white kids, UC Berkeley. The other white kids, Haight-Ashbury, San Francisco. Black people, Oakland. Right across from San Francisco. Look, you cross the bridge from San Francisco, you're in Oakland. You drive out of Berkeley, and you drive right into Oakland. That was a hub, only a few miles from each other. And all the brains, all the energy was concentrating in that area to lead the rest of the United States. That's why every trick and everything that happened to people, they did it first there, right? And then it spread out to the rest of America. But in the meantime, we have, as we did then, a great opportunity. the war on poverty, all the money, instead of being here, was sent over there to waste away. But it wasn't wasted. All the people that own the military industrial complex got super rich. And all the young people got killed. Not all of them, but a lot of them got killed in Vietnam. And after the Vietnam War, all the criminal things they did over there began to come out, right? So what happened was, where we were there in California, all of those voices came together. All of a sudden, even you can see it in the movie, the Black Panther Party and the young white kids began to have programs together, demonstrations. Why? Because they say, you know what? That monster is after all of us, right? And they're trying to kill us all. They're trying to kill y'all with heroin and everything else, right? And then they're trying to kill us, their own children, right? You think the boss man have an upset stomach about killing you? Look at Kent State in 1970, when the boy is blown away and the white girl has got some kind of, why? Like, it's like, this is not real. This is a big bad dream. How is the army shooting us? And we're their brothers and sisters and children. That's how mean boss man is. Boss man got a system, and you think he'll take you out. Of course he'll take you out, but he'll take his own children out. If they're going to threaten what? All the Indians we killed and the niggas we enslaved and all that to get this? You want to give it away and smoke it up in a pipe? Boss man, boss, I'm telling you now, if he'll do that to his own children, what do you think he'll do to you? And is he worse today or is he better? And what is he facing? Back to the story. The world is different now than it was then. The United States of America is different than it was then. That was the last days of ascendancy of the United States, where it's going up, controlling the world, everybody like it, all that stuff, even though it's killing everybody. Okay, then it becomes stagnant. In 1980 at GM in California, like the Negroes had jobs working out at GM, General Motors. Boy, look at here. They made over $20 an hour in 1980 and 81. Those were the last days of GM, right? That was the salary. All of my friends that worked at GM, they was living in the hills. They was rich. Part of the auto union and all of that. That was the last heyday, right? My family and friends that worked at Superstructure shipbuilding, they made $15 an hour in 1978. In 1978. That was the standard, and they got all overtime you wanted, you know what I mean, stuff like that. Now they're trying to get you $15 an hour. $15 an hour, you been to the grocery store lately? It costs you $15. They ought to stand at the store and charge you tickets to come in and buy. It's so you can't get out of there. You can't get nothing in the store for $15. You used to could buy your whole groceries, cart full, for $20. You can't do that now. They won't even let you store. They ought to pat you down. You got any money in your? I got $20. You can't get in there with that little old money. Go down to the Giant, $20. You're going to come in here to steal. You ain't, they could do that. They don't do it. But you're not leaving Giant, Safeway, or nowhere. $20 won't even get you a pack of cigarettes, I don't think. They probably can, but they, cancer cigarettes, right? You can't get out of nowhere with $20. right? And now they trying to get people, we gonna get them $15 an hour salary. In other words, a poor man's, you can't even pay, it costs you $100 to get on the subway, everything, right? Inflation. So what we're talking about today is a combination of events that's coming together, right? It's closing in on the United States. It's shrinking up the borders. It's diminishing the returns. It's causing a collapse of this infrastructure. And it's our job to do just what we're doing now, to tell the people what's going on. But it's not our job. We're not responsible to make nobody do nothing, right? And this is a problem for many people who want to do good. Oh, I just want to do good, and the people won't listen, right? That's not what the Quran tells us. And as far as them lasting through this period, the people before had plots and plans. The Roman Empire had plots and plans, right? At the same time, they tell a story that Nero fiddled while Rome burned. Now, I know that that's talking about the old Nero, the emperor in the 4th century. They're saying while Rome was burning, he was playing a fiddle. I think maybe that's an allegory. In other words, when the Roman Empire was collapsing, he was just messing around, confused, right? Non-attendant to the things that would keep itself together, right? Well, look at America now, right? You're living in Rome of that time, right? America is collapsing. And everything that America, the government, is doing accelerates the collapse. It's speeding up the collapse. And we have to do something about ourselves while this is going on. Leave me alone with such as give lie to this tiding. We shall bring them low, step by step, without their perceiving how it has come about. For behold, though I may give them rain for a while, my subtle scheme is exceedingly firm. This is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying. Pay attention, tiding, what I'm saying. We shall bring them down, step by step, method by method, process by process, in such a way that they won't perceive that they're going down. Everybody else see they're going down. Everybody else telling everybody, well, America look like it's finished. And not only that, America is doing exactly the thing that make everybody else out there get together against itself. Well, we don't like you Chinamen talking out the side of your mouth. So they know the U.S. is waiting to spend some more money on Hong Kong and on Taiwan, right? The Chinese already know that. They got plenty of sense. You ought to check them out. They've been here 5,000 years, and they've been on a roll ever since, right? So they already know, because they've been through this process of up and down for thousands of years. They know all the symptoms. They've written on it. They've studied about it. They have great books, some of the great classical writings on those subjects, right? The rise and fall of empires and all these great wars, that's where it come from. So they see what boss man is trying to do to them. Then you have the so-called bad guys in Russia. Now, Russia jumped on itself in the first Afghan war and blew it. It's a long story. But the people they got there now are not into just messing up everything without thinking about it. They've been thinking long range, protracted. So they tell people, okay, we want to have an agreement. Now, when we break down the Soviet Union, we don't want y'all to hook up none of this Warsaw Pact stuff that falling apart, Poland and all those places. They said, we won't come over nowhere close to you. And then all of a sudden, after a few years, they have this NATO thing. They say, hey, why don't you guys join? Pretty soon, everybody didn't join. Now they almost up to the Russian border. The only thing left is Ukraine, which used to be part of the Soviet Union. But all those places over there, they don't have no solid border that's been there 1,000 years, right? Them things are changeable. And the people inside of them are changeable. Example, when you watch the news, no niggas allowed. That means I don't care whether you're Indian from India, I don't care whether you're African from any parts of Africa, you can't get on this train. And then the news will say, after a few weeks, we knew it before that, but they're saying, oh, we could help those people because they have blonde hair and blue eyes, da-da-da-da-da-da, right? But no niggas allowed. Sound like over here almost, right? No Chinese and dogs allowed in the park. No Negroes in this park. Go get your own cotton field to run around in. But no niggas in this park. This is America. Great. So the world is looking at all of this, and they're taking it all in, right? They're absorbing all of this. And the U.S. is not paying attention. So all their media, they closed down all the other Russian media, everything else, and all you can hear is their rendition of the story, right? And if you listen to them people, you'll be in la-la land forever. So what is the world looking at? They say, well, India got this, China looking at it another way, Iran looking at it this way, all of South America is looking at it that way, and then, oh, the dumb U.S., we done made a mistake. Oh, can we, Venezuela, right, and Iran, can y'all help us with some oil for a while? Now, they'd have been just about starved the people to death, but they going, oh, dumb Biden. That man is pitiful. And he running around, hey, you guys want to sell a little oil right now? Right? Starve you to death? I forget about that. What the heck? You know, that's water under the bridge, right? Last week, that's water under the bridge. We done did it for 5 years, and y'all ain't got no more money, and y'all been starving to death and immigrating right? That means this dummy is forgetful. It's forgetful. It's like when we was kids. I get back to the subject. Remember when you was kind of young and the big bully around town might have busted you upside the head or something or snatched something from you, right? And 10 years later, this guy's a wino and a bum, and he don't remember, hey, little Charlie, here you come. 6'3", 200-something pounds, lifting iron. He done forgot that he busted you upside your head, took your stuff from you, right? You never forgot that. Tell the truth. You never forgot that. And nobody else over there have forgotten being stepped on by boss man, right? And now, boss man here has a policy to force everybody together. Oh, we're going to cut y'all off. China, we're going to cut y'all off too. You talking crazy. We mad. China as big as they are and tougher right now. But they still an empire in decline. That's what I'm talking about. An empire in decline. Just like all the groups we have. We used to call them big niggas. They get big, they get probably have a little money for a few years. They one way going up, and then all of a sudden they picking up cases and everything, and pretty soon they running around burglarizing or whatever they can. They done cut up the unit, broke up the structure of the organization, sent the chief to the penitentiary, right? And you can't even recognize them. That happens to individuals, groups, but it happened to countries. That's what's happening to the United States. Big bad America. Everything that was something in America is now discombobulating. It's coming apart. Okay. While this is happening, we should think about where we want to be at that time, right? What is our mission? What is our goal? We can't make nobody do nothing, right? Is this going to happen? Of course, this lecture is decades old, and we say it every now and then, so we didn't say all this to everybody, but everybody knows this. It's on a T-shirt. I can pull this thing off. It's got a shirt on there. It has this ayat. We shall bring them low, step by step, without them perceiving. The Congress, the Senate, those liars, the dumb president, they're not seeing it. But everybody else is watching them tell the truth. That's why they want you to cut off any other media that's bringing any message besides theirs, right? They're hoping that if they tell you a lie, you'll believe the lie, and that will become reality. But there's a time when that stops working, and that time is now. So, behold, though I may give them rain for a while, my plan or my subtle scheme is exceedingly firm. That means this is bathed in history. It is a process that have happened to all societies, all people. When Allah give them rain for a while, it means rulership. They're on the way up. And you can be the strongest Indian tribe in the West, Apaches, anybody, but when you're fighting against that monster on his way up, you can't beat him. You can't beat him. You can have everything seem like going your way, and guess what? You can't beat him. And during that time of ascension, he will be placed in a position where you can't even get to him. During World War I, right? And World War II, where were they at? All over there, right? It was either 3,000 miles to Europe or 6,000 or 7,000, all that island hopping going through, invading islands. There was thousands of miles over there. You know how far Hawaii is from here? It's way over there. It ain't across the street, right? It's way over there. So the wars of World War I and World War II was all over there, right? If you at home lifting iron and doing bench presses and running around the yard, you getting in shape, you eating all the oatmeal you can. When you come into World War I, everybody else been fighting from 1914 to 1917 when you come in. Everybody's tired. It's like coming in a 12-round fight in round number 10, right? And you fresh as a daisy. And the other guy's got snot running all out of his nose, can't hardly see, right? That's the way Europe was. They come in, and they take it over. World War II, was the same thing, the same fight all over again. They call it thieves fall out. These thieves, the colonial powers that was ruling the world, the colonial powers that had people in Africa, the French powers who had colonies in Africa, all of those were fighting against the Germans, right? And the Japanese, and the Italians, Triple Alliance and the Allies. Don't want to keep you all day, but just to see, you have to get a picture of where you are now. After World War II, the United States, 1945, the United States is running everything. The U.S. dollar is the coin of the realm, not the British pound anymore. Right? And so, all of a sudden, you're running everything. Anybody that's on your team, it's all right. Anybody not on your team, you're in trouble. Right? And it went along like that. Then, things began to change. A lot of y'all don't remember the Korean War, but America in 1950 to 1953, that war is still on the books as a war. There's no peace treaty. That war is technically still on the books right now. Guess what? The Koreans actually whipped the North Koreans, and what they used to call the Red China actually whipped the United States. Right? Everybody knows that. Okay, let's skip over that. That was a long time ago. Vietnam. Everybody has seen it on TV. It's not the forgotten war like Korea. People know something about Vietnam, no matter they was born in or not, but they know that whatever it was, America got whipped bad by those people, right? You come up through the wars of today, right? America invaded anybody they wanted. They invaded Libya only a few years ago. They invaded Iraq twice only a few years ago, right? And they killed, you know that old haggly-headed woman just died the other day? It might have been yesterday. Madeleine Albright. They killed in Iraq 750,000. That was the number they gave her on the news. They said, Miss Albright, after the war, 1991 and all that, the embargo has caused, according to our count, 750,000 people, mostly women and children, to die. And she said, guess what? Her famous words. Anybody remember what it was? I think it was worth it. Yeah, it was worth it. Yeah. Of our people, Iraqis, 95% Muslim. All right. Then they came back again. And they destroyed, see, the way they did us, they wanted to destroy your history. You think of the modern wars. I don't want to keep y'all all day, but might as well you come once a week. Ain't no sense in being in a hurry, right? Yeah, once a week, an hour and a half or so, it ain't going to kill you. So anyway, you can read about the hanging gardens of Babylon. You know where they was? In Iraq. That's far back. The Tigris and Euphrates, where they are? In Iraq. You know, the cradle of civilization. The Nile Delta, the pyramids, right there in Egypt. Everything that was something and got the possibility of becoming something again is all over there. Here come the newcomer. And he destroys all of that. What is he destroying? Your history. And he makes it so that there's so much turmoil that the people steal little statues and everything and sell them for 50 cents or $100 and destroy the whole history. Then they said 2 years ago that he was going to bomb, that was old dumb Trump, I'm going to bomb, Iranian cities where they got all this stuff. All those places over there have real ancient stuff over there, you know. To destroy your history, we should know better than anybody. The American Indians should know better than anybody. Destroy the history, destroy the people, right? If you don't have no past, you don't have no future. That's the way they look at it. So they're going to go and they've destroyed Mosul. They've destroyed those big, beautiful centers and Masjid. They laid them waste and bomb them to shock and awe. In Afghanistan, all of those places, those are part of ancient civilizations, right? And of course, they didn't have no sense. They didn't know, they haven't studied enough to know that Afghanistan is the graveyard of civilizations. The graveyard. I don't care whether it's Alexander the Great, whoever that messed with Afghanistan, it was on the way down, right? When Alexander the Great run through Afghanistan, he said he smelt the environment, he kept going to India. Where it was big, rich, and then he come back down the other way, coming back home to Greece. He came across Arabia. He sent spies down there to Arabia. We're going to get back to the point in a minute. You know what the spies told him? Just like our history tells us. There ain't nothing down there worth taking. All they do is drink, get drunk, and fight. There ain't nothing down there but sand. Alexander the Great went on across and left Arabia there for the rise of Islam, right? That's what he did. And he went over to Egypt. They got a city there, still there now. They call it Ascandaria, Alexandria, right? From Alexander the Great. He knew better than to stick around Afghanistan. But the Soviet Union didn't know any better, and they got broken down. The United States last few months ago was running out of where after 20 years? Afghanistan. It's a case of, Malcolm said, chickens coming home to roost. Everything now is coming back on Boss Man. I'm going to speed up a little bit. But remember what Allah said. We shall bring them low step by step without their perceiving how it has come about. The ones that's being brought down, the Senate is talking like everything is all right, right? The Congress is talking like we running this and we, like it's all right. Everybody else is saying all of the rest of the world have their calendar. And it has a slide, and it has the United States up here, and have it on a slide. This boy is going down. But it don't perceive it. The lying Congress, they don't perceive it. The emperor with no clothes, they don't even see that they butt naked in front of everybody. Everybody see their history, they see their culture, they see everything. And remember, Boss Man, when he was big, went around and busted everybody upside of the head. Got to remember that. Now everybody else is getting bigger. And they watching Boss Man. They waiting on him. Boss Man getting weaker. Boss Man getting weaker. And they smelling it. And you see the world now standing up. I'm telling you that Allah give all people a chance. No matter how much oppression we have suffered, Allah is giving us, for the Muslims, it would be the 100th chance because of where we're from. Our civilizations have rose and crumbled many times. This is the first go-around for Boss Man. That's why he's so dumb. He's dumb. You know why? This is the first time America been big, right? So they don't have no history of getting weak and stupid looking, right? That's why everybody is looking at them and know what's happening, and they don't. You think they don't know what's happening? They ain't never been here before. Everybody else have, right? Chinese is 5,000 years old. They've had great kingdoms up and down. Babylon and Iraq and Persia, the Persian Empire, tickled Parasan, you know. Daniel in the lion den, y'all ever read that in the Bible? All that stuff is over there. That's in Persia. They changed the name of the Hebrew boys to Persian names. Y'all remember the old song, Shadrach, Meshach, Abednego? Ain't no Jew named that. That's Persian stuff, right? Where did they throw the people in the fire? And they come out cool? In Persia. I'm just trying to tell you that this is, this stuff goes around, but the pattern, we base our lectures, we base our behavior on the pattern of Quranic history and hadith. That's what the pattern is. So no matter what happened, you can see, I'm going to go on and jump toward the end. I don't want to be an oppressor, you know. Just remember, slow wastage. There's one ayat. Let not their strutting about of the unbelievers through the land deceive you. Don't let their braggadociousness, and we're going to be here forever. We's a permanent fixture in this reality. Don't let that fool you. We'll just do this and call it a day. Most people will not believe in this revelation, although thou dost not ask of them any reward for it. It is but Allah's reminder unto all mankind. But then how many a sign is there in the heavens and the earth which they pass by unthinkingly, and on which they turn their backs? So the stuff is not new, that people hear the truth and then they don't pay no attention to it. O prophet, this is my way, resting on conscious insight, accessible to reason. I am calling you unto Allah, I and they who follow me, and say limitless is Allah in his glory. I am not one of those who ascribe divinity to aught besides him. Okay, this is very clear. Our stuff, what we're telling you today, first of all, is resting on Quran and Sunnah. But it's also resting on history, right? And the other thing it's resting on is reason, aql. It's within reason, and everybody can see that reason. So it's not that we're making up some things for you to catch up on. We're going to skip to one of these ayats here. This is a very important one. O my sustainer, thou hast indeed bestowed upon me something of power, and hast imparted unto me some knowledge of the inner meaning of the happenings. Originator of the heavens and the earth, thou art near unto me in this world and the world to come. Let me die as one who has surrendered himself unto thee, and make me one of the righteous. This is the prayer of Yusuf alayhi salam. And he's thanking Allah. O my sustainer, thou hast indeed bestowed on me something of power, and it hath imparted unto me some knowledge of the inner working of happenings. In other words, Yusuf was given some knowledge of how things work. You know what I mean? How these things are all organized. And he's thanking Allah for that. O originator of the heavens and earth, thou art near unto me in this world and and the life to come. Let me die as one who has surrendered himself unto thee, and make me one of the righteous. In moving toward a close, we always have this concept. In studying the movements before, we saw a lot of what was happening to them. They didn't have time to train and to learn. Like when we spent time in Africa, we realized that most of the colonial movements, post-colonial movements, pre-colonial movements, or revolutionary movements had time and place. They had the woods and the jungles to hide and rest in, right? And they had some years to acquire the ability to fight against the colonial master, right? And they had time, whether it was in China, wherever it was, the people fighting colonialism, the ones that were successful, they had what we call, or what is called, a protracted struggle over a long period of time. What we had in America, you take 1965 to 1970, only 5 simple years, the movement then swooped up and it's on the way down fast. We didn't have nowhere to hide. You go hide with a Negro, he call the sheriff before dinner time. He done already, boss man, you know, nigga Charlie is over here with me. Now all I need is a little sack of beans and a little something like that, right? He done told on you. So you didn't have a place to hide. We didn't have a place to hide, nor did we have time to study our environment and ourselves. We just snatched up what we had and jumped out, rah, rah, rah. The white man with his organization shot us down and killed us, closed us down, and that was it. Too fast. So we realized when we was overseas that protracted struggle is important, that you have a long time. The longer, the better, right? And that's what happened to us right here. Whether you believe it or not, we done had decades, over 4 decades of acquired knowledge of how to fight the system. And now, I know you're going to think we're crazy, but I'm just going to tell you the truth. We discombobulate the system and we slap them upside the head and kick them in their behind anytime we get ready. And all this I've been doing it for years, well, why ain't nobody gone nowhere? Because we didn't learn how to deal with boss man. Yes, we have. I know you said, boy, that nigga is crazy. Why is he crazy? Because ain't nobody else doing it. Go to any other masjid and see what they're talking about. Right? They sweetie peso, sweetie pie, it's a shame. And who they talking about? Don't go over there, because them is bad people over there. Isn't that right? They're bad jokers over there. That's the first thing they're going to tell you. All right? So I'm going to be brief, but as you do this a long time, you know what I mean? You get to what we used to call game. You learn how to position people, things, and events. And boss man, especially you catch him at the right time. He's on the way down and he's on the way out. So you know how to give boss man what he think he wants. And then you tell boss man, you're going to stab me in the back. Would you stab me right here? And that's the boss man get all his stuff stabbing you. You just told him, now boss man hit me on this side of the head. You got a plate over there to protect you. And boss man, you telling boss man what to do to you. Why? He doesn't understand, because he ain't never nobody ever taken to that level before. He wiped everybody out. It's like a fight. When George Foreman was fighting Muhammad Ali. Now, if he just stood toe to toe, Muhammad Ali and what's the guy? Joe Frazier was close in ability, right? Shoot. Joe Frazier running there and he was out in boop, just like that. Isn't that right? Why? Because he going to run up to big old George. We know George about that California and moved down to Texas. Look at here. He fought in Rome. Muhammad Ali been around a while. Says, I'm going to wait on that boy. What happened? By the 5th round, George he just might as well have a washing machine. He just can't even hardly tussle. Waited another round. 6th round, he was calling it rope-a-dope. He tired him out. George had never fought before farther than 5 rounds because he's the champion. Boss man ain't never been past 2 rounds. He knocks niggas out just like that all the time. Tell the truth. Ain't nobody never fought him. When you get boss man up in the 25th round, boss man he just tired. He on his feet, but he already out. You can thump him, and that's what we doing to him now. Standing right, that's what we doing now. We playing with boss man. Boss man, boy, look at here. And I'm not bragging, but we have incorporated everybody he tried to turn away from us and tell them to be snitches. He was right with half of them. But how many of them is with us? The tattletale, they won't come by here. How many of those people are with us? Right? We knew where he was coming. We knew what road he was going to take him. We've been doing this. We got hold to something called longevity, the ability to be around a long time. In our history, nobody got no longevity. Tell the truth. What happened to all the gangsters? No longevity. What happened to our project years ago of organizing the Negroes all over America? So kind of mafia type for black people. What happened? They smell that, they get rid of it. Nigga, you gotta go. So you know when boss man is mad, so you pack up your stuff and run on off. But you study the world. And when you come back, you got a plan this time. Yeah, you got a plan this time. Part of that plan, you don't have to have it, but longevity, the ability to hold on, and stickability, the ability to stick, right? So after a while, you see everybody come and go, right? But you know what detour to take and when to come back on. I'm telling you, that longevity teaches you a lot. Our people never had it. We never had longevity. Our biggest movement lasted 5 years. If you take Martin Luther King, by 1968, when he went to Chicago, he was brokenhearted. Y'all ever see how they was throwing stuff at him? He was brokenhearted. It's good he died then. It's not good for him in history, but what could he have done? The people are already pulling away, right? And then they done got slick. They looked at us, East Oakland Enterprises, Black Economic Enterprise Zone. We so young that people wasn't paying attention. But we did it before the white man even realized that, hey, and then they would say, that nigga is stupid, look at him. Well, you know, before, when we didn't get in the white folks' newspapers, what was it? Word of mouth, right? So if you bought this nigga a Cadillac, that nigga a Cadillac, every time they saw that Cadillac, you may have paid in those days $10,000 for it, but that's $100,000 worth of advertisement. Right? Every time that car go by, man, that's a bad ride. That Broham so-and-so bought that Broham for Mellow Mike, and that crew is big. And pretty soon, you may have spent $50,000 on cars and got $500,000 worth of advertisement. They get the car, they get to drive it, and it's theirs, and you get the advertisement. You'd have to pay for advertisements, right? Radio advertisement, TV advertisement, you got to pay for it. And they say niggas are stupid. Not true. You want to advertise? Big so-and-so bought that Cadillac, man, that's a bad, everybody had Cadillacs in those days. Man, at the Broham, that was the biggest, long as all of that. And every time they see it, everybody talks about it. You know the culture. You know what they used to call a 2-year-old Cadillac? A legend. A legend, why? Because if you came by with a 60 and 65 with a 63 Cadillac, they call that a legend. Why? Everybody done talked about it so much. So technically it's brilliant. It is. You couldn't get in the newspaper. The Oakland Tribune didn't put niggas in there, right? Nobody, so you're gonna, in those days, everything, we talked about everybody. In our neighborhood, it was a wonderful thing. So if you want to get to the people, right, you get what they talk about. Okay, they talk about pretty cars and pretty girls. So you get a pretty car, you put a pretty girl in it, and that's all they're going to talk about. Man, I saw him, they turned the corner, and they were so hanging out the window. He had a diamond ring on. You can't even do that no more. Niggas used to ride with their diamonds hanging out the window. Go ahead now, over the last 30, 40 years. Hang your hand out the window. Them niggas will be whop, 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 right? It's unbelievable. We used to do that. You used to go to the club with your pockets puffed out, all the money you done made that day, your pockets puffed all out with money. Go do it now, see what happened. Boy, the Negro done changed. But anyway, what I'm trying to say is we understood our neighborhood and our environment, and we used it to build the only black economic enterprise zone where black people could get their own houses and their own such and such and such, and all of them were young. If I was one of the oldest, shoot, I wasn't but 23 or 24. When I left the country, I was 25 or 26, so you know. But that's why it was working, because we were younger people, right? We were younger, and we was doing our job. Anyway, this go round, we're a little older, got a few more years on us. But we going after boss man. We're not, he can't get away with this stuff. Yeah, you got to settle your life that, hey, this is the bum that's causing all the trouble, let's go get him. And that's what we're doing. And you can, I'm going to really close with this. But they're so stupid and they think you're so stupid. You know boss man going to surround you with snitches and tattletales, right? Because he did it to everybody else. So you're going to tell everybody that's with you, don't come by and see me, don't do this, you know what I mean? And if somebody call you on the phone, you'll hang up talking about. So pretty soon you don't get no phone calls. Why? Because if boss man is messing with you and he know you messing with so-and-so, pretty soon you cut yourself off, right? Tell them to lay low for a while. We'll be back in 5 or 10 years. Now's the time. Boss man is going to be so surprised about this period. The people he thought was his tattletales, they going to find out that it ain't that way, boss man. It could be literally anybody, friends and family. And boss man, he don't know nothing unless the Negro tell him. Tell the truth. Who's selling all our dope over there in our projects? Well, go over there yourself, big old red-haired white man. You go over there and find out. Ask everybody. Can't do it, right? He got to get you to tell him. So you get Johnny Boy to tell him, boss man, them niggas over, oh, Lord have mercy. Them niggas is selling dope, they doing this, they doing that. And you have them pointing out whoever, you know what I mean? To keep him away from the center of power and authority. Basically, the white man is dumb. You think he's brilliant. He's dumb, stupid. Give you enough time, you can beat the cracker in basketball, football, and everything else. And you can beat him thinking, too. You just never had time before. That's all it was. That was the crux. The crux of the matter was you never had time to think, to rest, and to get yourself together. And once you get it, that's the way it goes. It's too bad. Ain't nothing he can do about it now because you have taught everybody what's the truth, and guess what? Everybody else knows what truth is, right? This dummy done jumped on everybody at the same time. He is a classical idiot. Idiot. He gonna jump on China. China's big. He gonna jump on Russia. Russia's big, right? He gonna jump on the biggest oil producers in the world, right? And he gonna try to cut off, the people gotta eat, right? If you cut off Ukraine and Russia, they produce 42% of the wheat and stuff in the world, isn't that right? So in another 20 hours, they ain't gonna have no bread. They get most of their oil from Russia. You call the stupid Saudis and say, we need your help. They won't take your call. Tell the truth. Everybody know that, right? Because you done told them you wasn't thinking ahead. We going to put you in the penitentiary. We don't like you. Talking to those dumb Saudis. The Saudis is murderers and criminals, right? The lowest part of the earth. And you think they're going to stick with you if you look like you going down? Well, if you think that happened, you start going down, right? Or you hit the lottery and get $5 million. Everybody going to be by there, right? While you got that money, what's going to happen when it drifts away? You say, where's all my friends? What happened? Right? That's the way they're doing Boss Man now. Because Boss Man is broke. And in a minute, you think he broke now? You think inflation? And I'll close with this, truly. I know it may not make sense to you. But Boss Man, your America, has every disease that kills people. And the only thing about him, he ain't dead yet. But he's close to dying. This boy got every disease, every social disease, every psychological disease, every economic disease. He can't print no more money because his print press is just cranking out money. And just a little lesson and we'll finally leave. Since American money is the currency that everybody saves all over the world, when I was in South America, we did business not in Colombian pesos. Everything was in American dollars. And when they make those American dollars, they send them back home. The American Treasury counts up all the money that go back overseas, and they print more of that. See, because that money is gone over there. It's not in circulation here. And the people all over the world save their money in American dollars, right? So there has to be trillions of American dollars outside of the country. And a few trillion inside the country. But they have an annual estimate of how much money you think America's losing money. They're selling all the dope here, then they're taking it back to Colombia. They don't do that. They estimate how much money did they take back to Colombia, right? How much money the people around the world is saving up of American dollars. They estimate it. And then they print that new money here. When they go broke, they're going to go so broke. You can't get that broke. They're going to be under broke. You wouldn't believe it. So America, you can love them all you want, but Boss Man's on the way out. That's why T-shirt said, "Boss Man's Bites the Dust." I'm sorry, I got a lot to say and I haven't been here too long. Don't worry. This is our time. You can be sad or mad or happy about it. This is our time. And we'll close by just saying Ramadan is coming up. Shoot, it's about a week. In a week it'll be here. Yeah, Ramadan is right around the corner. So we should be preparing our Ramadan program. We will have food and prayer every night. And so just be prepared to come and have a good time and hopefully a good meal, but we're going to do that. We're also going to have some designed fundraising activity. And that's about it. O Allah, we seek thy refuge from anxiety and grief. We seek thy refuge from lack of strength and laziness. We seek thy refuge from cowardice and niggardliness. We seek thy refuge from being overpowered by debt and the oppression of men. O Allah, suffice us with what is lawful, keep from us what is prohibited. With thy grace, make us free from want of what is besides thee. Ameen. Iqamati salam. Yeah.